And it goes a little something like...
Cults and their leaders exist all over the world. Wherever there are people, there are leaders and there are followers. The Ahbash sect is a movement that began with Abdullah Muhammad al-Harari. To those on the inside, the group is a means of obtaining knowledge, a means of walking the right path to paradise. But is the Ahbash simply a religious sect, or is there something more sinister about this group? Let's start with the leader. Abdullah Muhammad was born in Harar, Ethiopia sometime between 1906 and 1920. After preaching his Islamic beliefs, he fled or was expelled from the country. He traveled to Syria and continued to preach. He was then expelled and fled to Lebanon. In Lebanon, he gained a following of people who believed in him. In 1983, Abdullah became the leader of the AICP, which stands for the Association of Islamic Charitable Projects, later also known as the Ahbash. He passed away in 2008. So what defines a cult, anyway? Well, cults share many characteristics such as a charismatic and authoritarian leader, love-bombing new members, thought reform, also known as brainwashing. They're exploitative, and you typically can't leave without being threatened with consequences. Cult leaders are believed to have special access to the truth that no one else does. Abdullah is praised by his followers as having studied Islam rigorously from a young age. His primary goal in life was to spread the correct belief. He seemed defensive of his ideas since he has been described as being very hostile to those who disagreed with him.
هؤلاء تائهون ليسوا على هدى ضالون.
Salafi dan Wahabi itu adalah Syekh Abdullah Al-Harari. Sampai orang-orang Wahabi tak tahu dengan kitab-kitab yang ditulis oleh Imam Ibnu Taimiyah bahwasanya itu adalah tulisan beliau. Jadi kita belum pernah tengok lagi kitab tadi itu. Ternyata dengan Syekh Abdullah Al-Harari sudah tengok. Syekh Abdullah Al-Harari sebelum berusia 10 tahun sudah hafal kutub sitah, hafal Quran.
そして来世より高い世界に転生したいと考える人は証券会にまず重きを置く。いいね。
Cult leaders are also highly revered and are excessively devoted to by followers. Abdullah's followers have described him as very pious, knowledgeable, humble, and trustworthy.
Ulama besar, sulit untuk kita mencari tandingan.
Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
اشتقت لك بدر الليالي الحنيت عينيك بالي يا هراري وحتى المطار.
Cults are notorious for love-bombing new recruits. Love-bombing is an intense display of affection or attention used to manipulate or control someone. Feeling isolated because of a major life change can make people more vulnerable to this emotional manipulation technique. Ex-Ahbash members describe how their first impression of the group is positive because the people are very friendly. Every year, the Ahbash organizes a summer camp program. Here are clips from new or potential members from a summer camp over 20 years ago in Toronto.
We thought that this will continue every year. This was my first time, me and my family, but there's other Somali families who used to come here, the last year and the years that, they told me, how happy they were when they, came this camping. So for us, we see it, really happy, really happy. when it comes to learning bigger knowledge, when it comes to the children, the activities.
Gordon falls victim to the mind control technique known as love bombing.
The real hook was that they kept praising me, making me feel I was an important part of the group and that I had something important to contribute, so I would feel that I'd be kind of rude or selfish if I quit. And I did have, at certain points along the way, a firm decision, I'm going to leave here, I got to get out, this isn't right. But each time they would just sort of wheedle me along until I finally said, yeah, all right, I'll stay a little longer. And then gradually I was in.
The most important objective of the Ahbash AICP is to spread what they call the correct knowledge, or Islamic obligatory knowledge, and support it with clear evidence. Abdullah wrote many books to propagate his ideas. Part of thought reform is to persuade people to believe in teachings that are unorthodox or strange to those outside the group. An example is how the Ahbash in North America pray facing southeast while all other Muslims pray facing northeast. The Ahbash also believe it is an obligation to turn the head of a Muslim's corpse to the southeast instead of northeast. Sadly, in families where there are members within this group and outside the group, there have been arguments at cemeteries regarding the position of the deceased's head.
So نحن in North America, if you were at the Kaaba and you want to go to North America, do you take the south? لا. Do you take the east? لا. Do you take the west? لا. What do you take? North? West. So how you direct yourself to the Kaaba? Southeast. يعني شو بدها brains? Even the kuffar named this continent we are living in North America. يعني North America. You know what is an obligation upon us, if we can, to reopen the grave and put them southeast. It is an obligation. When the Muslim dies, it is obligatory upon us to direct him to the Qibla. Let's say the Qibla is like that. How do I bury someone who died as a Muslim? Go here and face there. Lie on your right side. I bury him exactly like that. His chest must face Al-Kaaba. And then I put the sand on top of him, and I put, for example, a tombstone if I want. So and so died so and so. Isn't that right?
My father gave me, long before this civilization, gave me birth into that kingdom level above human, that kingdom of heaven, that kingdom of God. Now you can say, well, I can't believe that. Well, it's up to you whether you believe that or not. That's not important to me, even though I wish that you could believe it for your sake.
Thought reform can happen through positive reinforcement and punishment. After beliefs are drilled into one's brain through repetition, followers are rewarded when their behavior is in line with the group's ideology. They are punished when their behavior challenges or is different from the ideology.
What does it mean for the water to flow on the body part to be washed?
It means for the water not to wipe the water on the part to be washed. Instead, the water, for example, you put water in your hand and it has to go down.
When it goes down, when it flows on the body part, this is
flowing. This is sayala. This is called flowing.
This is called flowing. So if I put water on my hand here and I do like this for wudu, isn't that correct? Isn't that valid?
No, if you put water on your hand and...
Answer the question.
I told you the question. How is that?
So it's not. Barakallah feek.
An ex-Ahbash member shared this experience where their sibling was punished by being pulled out of class after making a statement that was deemed blasphemous. Thought reform is cemented through social isolation. By restricting or encouraging members to interact with only group members, they have limited opportunities to expand their thinking beyond the group's ideology. By occupying the time of members with activities that serve the group, members have little time to reflect on what is happening. This creates an environment where groupthink is reinforced and the member is dependent on the group's validation and support.
بس في ناس اللي كانت مع أمها مرتدة بالبيت، اللي مع الوالد مرتد بالبيت، اللي مع حماتها مرتدة بالبيت، اللي بتعرفوا وبيفوت بقى المواضيع اللي فيها مشقة شديدة إنه واحد يعيش أو يعاشر أو يكونوا معه بنفس العمل كل يوم 6 ساعات مثلا، وبصير كلام وبصير فقلت لهم بدهم يزعلوا ممكن يزعلوا بس ما توقعوا بالكفر.
Members of Ahbash are sometimes told to cut themselves off from non-Ahbash family members. This further isolates them. Members themselves may be afraid to interact with non-members out of fear of blaspheming.
By acquiring the personal obligatory knowledge, you will be protected from hellfire. That's why AICP all over the world, and it's more than 43 branches in all the world, we are seeking to make people acquire the Islamic obligatory knowledge in all the ways that we can. That's why sometimes we do camps, sometimes we do celebrations, sometimes we open schools, and so on. Also, we teach people in their homes, and so on.
A message we want to send to the parents and their kids is the importance of coming to Islamic lessons and to attain the knowledge. And also because you never know when you're going to die. Like, like everybody's going to die one day. You never know. I could leave right now and you know? Like, so it's good to just come and really be aware that life is really short. You have to take advantage of it while you're living. Some people, they tend to forget, they get caught up with this world and they have their businesses or whatever it is. And Marsa el-Banam, we have to remember this all the time because our goal is not to live for this life, but to live for our akhirah.
Because Ahbash members pray in a different direction from other Muslims in North America, they are advised to only pray with other Ahbash members and not go to non-Ahbash mosques.
The longest I ever stayed awake was 6 days, and that's with no coffee, no nothing.
It changed over the years, but it was always busy.
Being in an environment where you're constantly up, you're constantly busy, and you're made to feel guilty if you take too many luxuries like sleeping, you tend to not really think for yourself. And I did allow Jones to think for me because I figured that he had the better plan. I gave my rights up to him, as many others did.
An us versus them mentality is a very dangerous way of thinking. This binary sees everyone as either part of the group or an enemy. The group is associated with positive and superior attributes, while those outside the group are associated with negative and inferior attributes. Group members can become defensive and see any criticism as an attack whether or not the criticism is valid. Followers are not allowed to disagree with any of the group's beliefs. If they do, they are siding with the enemy and are made to feel wrong for having doubts. Abdullah is quoted as making many statements that describe his followers as superior and more righteous than other Muslims.
مسألة قال شيخنا رحمه الله إذا حصلت مسألة من شخص وهو لا يعرف حكمها لا يرد عليه السلام ولا يزوجه مسلمة ولا يشهد في زواج له ولو كانت المسألة من غير الصريح.
فقال الذي ينفر الناس من هذه الجمعية بقول أو فعل فهذا عدو الله وعدو دينه. قلت له مولانا قلتم عدو الله؟ قال نعم. قلت له يقال عدو الله؟ قال نعم يقال. قلت فما معنى عدو الله هنا؟ قال خبيث من أهل الكبائر ملعون. ثم قبل ذلك كان أرسل معي إلى السويد قال لي قل لهم الذي يطعن في هذه الجمعية أو ينفر الناس منها هذا خبيث فاسق ملعون من أهل الكبائر خسيس يخشى عليه من سوء الخاتمة.
الذي يطعن في جمعيتنا هذا عدو الله وعدو دينه. هذا فاسق خبيث ملعون يخشى عليه من سوء الخاتمة. هذا محارب لدين الله. هذا محارب لدين الله. الذي يطعن في جمعيتنا هذا كالذي يحمل المعول لهدم الدين.
Many cults exploit or abuse their members. Exploitation can be described as the act of using someone or something unfairly for one's own advantage. Abuse is anything that causes harm or distress. Emotional exploitation or abuse are non-physical actions that are used to intentionally cause fear, sadness, isolate, or control for personal gain. Financial exploitation is when deception or coercion is used to obtain money from someone. Political exploitation is the use of vulnerable people for political gain. Sexual exploitation or abuse is when someone abuses their position or power for sexual gain or forces or coerces someone into sexual activity.
Forget the lust of this life. Remember that one day you are going to die. Remember that one day you're gonna leave your family. One day you are going to leave your house. You are going to leave your car. Your glasses are going to stay in this world, above the ground, and you will be under the ground. Ya Habibi, all together. You will leave your wife and your kids, and you will be put in a grave, naked, without any clothes, only a kafan around you. The soil is going to be put on top of you. On top of you, people are going to go and come from their works. People are going to work and save money, get education, watch TV, hear radio, and you'll be alone, under the ground, with the sand, with the worms, with the darkness. He told him, not upon this, Ya Jibreel, not about this I'm asking you. Give me the good news, Ya Jibreel. He told him.
Here, an ex-Ahbash member shares how the group encourages money to be spent on the group.
قال شيخنا رحمه الله: ما دام يوجد أمور ضرورية كنشر عقيدة أهل السنة والجماعة ويحتاج لمال لهذه القضية، الشخص الذي يعرف هذا ويصرف مالا كثيرا في شيء لا حاجة له فيه ولو كان نافلة لا ثواب له بذلك، بل يكون عليه إثم بصرفه المال الكثير مع علمه بهذا الحال لشيء لا يحتاجه. يعني واحد مثلا بيسافر شمة هوا $10,000 وعارف انه في بجمعية المشاريع حاجة لنشر الدعوة الى الله، ان دفع هذا المال فيما هو يدفعه بيكون فوت فائدة ضرورية. نعم، لا ثواب له ان عمل نافلة بذلك وعليه إثم مع علمه بهذا الحال.
An ex-Ahbash member tells the story of how they were given hairs from the Prophet of Islam and a certificate of authenticity. Once he found out it was fake, he was surprised by the group leader's reactions.
قلت له اشتكيت له يا شيخ بدي شعرة ليس لي الجاه وللمال بس البركة للأمة، هذا هو. ما بدي أشياء يعني مال أو هذا للأمة، بركة. وقال لي هل معك $10,000؟ قلت له لا، ما كنت أشتغل في هذا الوقت. قال لي معك $5,000؟ قلت لا.
Two people from Libya allegedly paid an Ahbash leader $14,000 for a hair of the Prophet. Another way the Ahbash AICP raise funds is by selling products from their online store. One product is a beverage that is advertised to prevent blasphemous thoughts and provide protection from apostasy. It has been reported that members greatly fear accidentally doing something that would cause them to be deemed a non-Muslim and go to hell because of it. This product capitalizes on this fear.
In just over 160 years, the Mormon Church has become one of the world's most powerful financial institutions. Literally billions of dollars a year are received from its faithful members in the forms of tithes. One conservative guess is that $15 million a day is harvested from Mormons worldwide, with over half that from Mormons in America alone. In addition, the Mormon Church generates more than $6 billion yearly through its many business enterprises and subsidiaries. This income places them among the world's wealthiest corporations.
The AICP is not only a religious group, it is also political. They have decades of involvement in the politics of Lebanon and Syria. The AICP is even a political party in Lebanon.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. يقول شيخنا الشيخ عبد الله الهراري إمام الوقت وشيخ الأشعرية ومجدد القرن الرابع عشر رحمه الله ونفعنا به: انتخاب من رشحتهم الجمعية للنيابة ضرورة وهو فرض مؤكد، والذي يتخلف عن ذلك ولا عذر له فهو كالفار من الزحف عليه معصية. فانتبهوا يا أحبابنا، لا تتهاونوا في هذا الأمر. إن كنتم في لبنان وإن كنتم خارج لبنان عليكم السعي لانتخاب مرشح الجمعية، هذا فيه نصرة للدين. يقول شيخنا رحمه الله: ظهور جماعتنا نصر للدين، وهذا من ظهور جماعتنا، والنائب يجلب لنا منافع ضرورية لا تجلب إلا عن طريقه، ويدفع عنا ضررا قويا شديدا ولا يندفع إلا بوجوده. فلا تقصروا ولا تهملوا ولا تتهاونوا. وإن كنتم في سفر، قال الشيخ، يقترض ويأتي الذي ليس معه مال، وإن كان عنده عمل يأخذ إجازة. قالوا له: وإن كان يطرد من العمل، قال الشيخ: إن كان يجد غيره ولا يهلك بدونه يترك يأتي حتى ينتخب. مساعدة الجمعية فرض، بالقول، بالجهد، بالنفس، بالمال. إياكم والتقصير، القبر أمامنا والحساب أمامنا، وبارك الله فيكم.
A high-standing imam in the AICP Muslim community was arrested and charged on multiple sex-related counts regarding inappropriate contact of a minor. The initial incident took place in 2012 when Terence L. Lee, aka Imam Raid, was a teacher of one of his students at Taiz. The student recently took her Shahada and became a new Muslim and member of the AICP Masjid just over a year previously. The Imam, Sheikh, schoolteacher, solicited the child via Facebook in order to have sex with the 13-year-old student in a basement classroom of the AICP Masjid. On Facebook, he made many attempts to entice the child to meet with him at various locations to have sex. Twice she agreed to meet with him, and twice she declined. Reports indicate that the reason the child declined to meet with Imam Raid was because she said she was afraid and scared to meet in any other location outside the masjid. In the month of Ramadan 2012, the child was volunteering at the AICP Masjid's summer camp program. Within that time, Imam Raid took the then 13-year-old minor into an unoccupied classroom across from his office in the basement of the masjid, where the offense took place. When the FBI went through Imam Raid's Facebook account, they reportedly uncovered 47,000 pages of Facebook chats of him having unprofessional, vulgar sex talk with other females as well. On Thursday, September the 4th, 2014, Terence L. Lee, aka Imam Raid, was arrested and charged on 8 counts of sex crimes. Count 1, forcible compulsion. Count 2, unlawful contact with a minor. Count 3, statutory sexual assault. Count 4, aggravated assault. Count 5, sexual assault. Count 6, corruption of minors. Count 7, criminal use of communication facility. Count 8, indecent assault. On Wednesday, September the 17th, 2014, the Imam was bailed out of jail by the president of the AICP Masjid in Philadelphia, Omar Dimachki, as at least 30 or more members of the masjid attended the bail hearing. On Friday, May the 15th, 2015, the Imam pleaded guilty on some of the charges.
The sexual exploitation and abuse committed by the AICP leader resulted in serving 3 to 4 years in jail. He was released in 2019. He continues to preach AICP's beliefs on his YouTube channel and website. The last characteristic is that the members can't leave without being punished. Once someone is fully integrated into the group, their individual identity is erased. The group is everything. Members are told that the world outside is dangerous. If one leaves, they will lose their status, become worthless, and are at risk of being harmed. The group punishes those who leave.
One of the benefits of working in a team is that you have always someone by your side. Isn't that right? Like now, I forgot. I had someone by my side. Isn't that right? When you don't want to work with the team, with the jama'ah, yani, with the team, you'll stay alone and fall sick alone, and you will die alone. And then maybe no one knows that you died. Smell coming out of your apartment. That's why always be with the team, always give force to the team, and always protect the team. Protecting the team comes before protecting oneself. And bringing the good for the team takes precedence on bringing the good for oneself. Is it clear? The good of the team comes before the good of one. Is it clear? And removing the harm from the team, it is shown before removing one's harm. Is it clear? When this whole line of defense is strong, we are all strong. When one of this line of defense is weak, so not only we are all weak, we are all in danger. We are all in danger. That's why always work as a team. One hand cannot even clap. Can one hand do everything? It cannot do. What is easier for the bear or the wolf? To come eat us or him? This is the example of the one that leaves jama'ah. When you are alone, you are an easy target for ash-shaytan. But when you are in the group, no one, inshallah, can touch you.
Ex-Ahbash members share their experiences of wanting to leave, but being scared. They were afraid that the group was their only way to paradise, and without the group, they would be doomed to eternal hellfire. It has been reported that Ahbash members are told to excommunicate themselves from family members who leave the group.
قيل وما المبشرات يا رسول الله قال الرؤيا الصالحة يراها المؤمن أو ترى له ومن هذه البشائر أن إنسانا من آل الحلب رأى الشيخ ومعه هو الشيخ مع النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم عند باب الجنة وكل جماعة الشيخ في موقف القيامة يحملون هذا الكتاب يأتون إلى باب الجنة يسلمونه للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ثم يدخلون الجنة.
I actually believed that I was superior to most other people on this planet, that I had been chosen, and I would start considering other people as being less than what I was, not aware, not awake, having no idea of what life was really all about. So there was no other option for me than to stay within the group, because therefore that's where my salvation was.
So is the Ahbash sect, AICP, a cult?
Sheikh Jama'ah is like gold. Each time the gold, you put fire under it, it becomes more shiny. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We follow the truth. The people who know the truth will follow the truth. Is it clear? Barakallahu fikum. So the Qibla is where? Where? This is the best you can do. Where is the Qibla? Where is the Qibla? Where is the Qibla? Where is the Qibla? Barakallahu fikum for using your brain properly.
So you're not a cult? A cult? No.
Most cult members don't realize they're part of a cult.
It's not a cult. It's not a cult.
Yeah, this is definitely not a cult.
Can everybody, okay. I am the Hell Director. It looks like we have about 8,615 of you newbies today. And for those of you who were a little confused, you are dead and this is Hell. So abandon all hope and yada yada yada. We're now going to start the orientation process, which will last about...
Hey, wait a minute, I shouldn't be here. I was a totally strict and devout Protestant. I thought we went to heaven.
Yes, well, I'm afraid you were wrong.
I was a practicing Jehovah's Witness.
You picked the wrong religion as well.
Well, who was right? Who gets into heaven?
I'm afraid it was the...
AICP.
Yes.
AICP.
Were the correct answer.